Hello, welcome everybody. Back, we are back here with the SAPI IP Business Talks, and a warm welcome to Asia today. We are in Singapore and in Australia, and it's good evening in that direction. And I'm very happy today that we have Rodina Pescante here with us from Singapore, partner executive. We have David Perkins, founder in Australia from Eureka, and we have Yetu, an IP strategist and specialist from IPOS in Singapore. We want to talk today about patent strategies on digital platforms. A quite interesting topic, but first of all, we should learn a little bit more about Rodina, and so please explain us how did you came into that strange niche, nerdy niche of IP, and there, what is your background and how? Yeah, what is your career path which leads us here into the SAPI IP Business Talks?
Hi, Alex. Hello, everyone who is watching right now. It's a great pleasure and privilege to be invited to do this talk. So, thank you for joining us and hope that you will learn something from this discussion. Okay, so I want to introduce myself first. So, I am Rodina and Pescante, as mentioned by Alex, and I am a registered chemist. And ever since, I've been quite passionate about technologies, having worked in the chemistry field and IT field for a few years before I applied for a patent specialist job in the Philippines. Then I have been working for years there in the Philippines as a patent specialist. And then I moved to Singapore, and currently I'm based now in Singapore, and I handle prosecution of patent applications in ASEAN countries as well as in India. And I have also been involved in some patent litigation cases in some of these countries. And well, I have been looking for a good course to study intellectual property management. So I am very much happy to be able to study intellectual property management at the CP of the University of Strasbourg, under, of course, Professor Dr. Alexander Werser and Professor Thibaud Lilong. It has been a very, very good learning experience for me, and it's something that I can be, proud of for the rest of my life. So,
Thank you very much.
yeah,
Thank you
yeah,
very
I am very.
much. Yeah, it was a good half year and great fun. Rodina, we want to talk today a little bit about digital platforms and about IP or especially patent strategies within there and software patents. And you made your master thesis. You studied 2020, 21. You made your master thesis about exploring the business models of Netflix and Disney Plus, and
Correct.
how they use patent strategies to ensure their customer focus and how they face growth challenges over the time. And so, explain us what are the findings of your research.
Yeah, I was working on this research project and I was comparing the business models and patenting strategies of Netflix and Disney Plus. And specifically, there's patenting strategies in drawing customers and in preserving customer loyalty. Their patenting strategies and addressing customers' varied preferences and needs, and how the respective platforms, interact and address the various information provided by the customers to enhance customer experience. So this research project gives us a picture of how their patenting strategies are aligned with their respective business models to attain each of the company's objectives. So one of the main problems faced by Netflix and Disney Plus relates to technical issues to support their millions of users worldwide. So we know how difficult it is to maintain a strong platform that can handle millions of subscribers around the globe. especially that we're talking here about more than 100 million subscribers. Netflix, in fact, has more than 200 million subscribers. To be exact, 209 million subscribers. So it is very, very challenging indeed. So they have challenges not only in the quality of streaming and video services, but also in attracting more customers into their online streaming service. So, how to gain more subscribers worldwide, how to enhance customer experience, how to maintain customer loyalty, the strategies they use so that customers enjoy their experience with the streaming services that they offer. So we know that competition in this field is very stiff, right? So how to make their service more attractive than the services offered by other online streaming providers. So to address the various problems and challenges in online streaming services, both Netflix and Disney Plus have established vast digital patent portfolios. So these patents serve to like strengthen and sustain their competitive advantages in the platform field. So they have developed technologies that help their platform like perform at a level which supports and enhances customer experience. So in my study, I noticed that both of them use patents to support their respective online services. So both of them have very large patent portfolios. So both companies have established state-of-the-art technological inventions to support the respective services. So my findings show that Netflix has more sophisticated patents supporting its digital platform compared to Disney Plus. It has more state-of-the-art technologies in strengthening video and streaming qualities.
Can you? Yeah, exactly. That would be my question.
Yeah,
Could you give us so when you say they have a better patent portfolio about the customer experience, so I would say many in the audience, many people are confused. So how can you patent a customer experience? So can you give us an example for that, maybe from Netflix or Disney Plus to understand that better?
yeah. So one example that they have for patent, they have this like for example, the Netflix uses two different clouds such as Amazon Web Services and Open Connect. So the patents manage the back end and ensure improved performance by aiming towards efficient compression techniques. So for different instances and towards optimization of the resolution through its specialized algorithms, and they achieve also large scale streaming. So patents eliminate waiting time in processing videos, ensuring, for example, error-free installation of software updates, making it possible for users to view contents wherever they are. So it's one of the patents of Netflix. Yeah,
Yeah, okay, I got you. So at the end, what we see as a customer experience on that platform. So all of these suggestion engines, so that we get suggestions what we should look, and at the end that the streaming is working, that waiting time, switching, everything, the whole look and feel is technology based and is in so far patented.
correct. Yeah.
And can you explain a little bit the difference between Netflix, the strategy of Netflix and Disney?
Regarding the recommendation system, Netflix has a very sophisticated recommendation system.
Yeah,
Uh,
what I learned, by the way, what I learned is that the recommendation engine from Netflix is that good that they can predict with an 80% hit rate.
correct.
They can predict what you will watch. I mean, that's unbelievable, isn't it?
Yes, yeah. So the most interesting one is the recommendation system. So both Netflix and Disney Plus have recommendation systems. However, Netflix has a very, very sophisticated one. So, for example, Netflix, 80% of the content streamed on Netflix is driven by analytics, specifically its recommendation system. So patterns which include machine learning, algorithms, analytics. So The system captures users' data to know customers' preferences on movie shows to watch. So compared to Disney Plus, Netflix recommendation is quite advanced. So they have used like proprietary complex recommendation systems. So whenever a customer access the Netflix service, the recommendation systems strive to help customers find a show or movie to enjoy with minimal effort. So how do they do this? The system based it on customers' interactions with their service, such as customers' viewing history and how customers rated other titles, other members with similar tastes and preferences of their service, information about the titles, the genre, the categories, actors, the release year, and even the time of the day the customers watch. So you see, the devices customers yeah, even the devices where customers are watching Netflix on and how long the customers watch. So all of these pieces of data are used as inputs that they process in their algorithms.
Yeah, and I mean that is directly correlated with the business model. So when I mean, how can you generate these award-winning productions like House of Cards or whatever? At the end, it is that Netflix knows that much about the preferences from their customers, isn't it?
Correct. Yeah.
And so what they do is they patent the way how they collect data and how they process the data from the customers on the one side to to improve the suggestion engine to make it more enjoyable, so
Mm-mm.
that you feel that you have the feeling that Netflix understands really what you want to watch, and on the
Correct.
other hand, it makes them stronger to produce the content itself. I mean that's also that they, like Disney, they are not just a streaming platform, they are a producer of content.
Correct. Correct. They have Netflix originals since 2012. They have been competing well with Disney Plus in this arena, like because they know that Disney Plus has a lot of very good blockbuster movies. So Netflix original, they have created Netflix originals as well. So right now, if we compare the content library, Netflix has like 15,000 titles compared to Disney Plus is only like around 7,000 the last time I checked. So
Okay.
Netflix is really competing well also in that area. Yeah.
I have a question from the chat. So, what you did when is an external research. So, were you in contact with Disney or Netflix about your research project?
I was not in contact with Netflix and Disney Plus. Yeah, but there are a lot of data that I was able to encounter online, which is quite reliable. So I just
Yeah.
gathered all the information. I did my research as well in the USPTO for the patents and other search engines like in EPO and other patent databases.
Yeah, because the question what Dr. Marotta has is, she asked, do you have a feeling about the question about the amount of know-how which is might be kept secret, and to which extent these companies use patents in terms of, I mean, uh, the assumption is that when you use a patent, you think that somebody might infringe that and you are able to enforce. Otherwise, it doesn't make any sense to patent it. You would keep it secret. So, from your understanding of both portfolios, I mean, they are obviously no rookies. Yeah, I mean that are the big boys which play a big boys game here. What is your understanding of infringement and situations of enforceability of this kind of patent portfolios, and to which extent you have the impression that there is pretty much know-how in the background which is obviously not presented in the patents?
Oh, Actually, I have come across an article that there are a lot of patents filed by other parties that have been invalidated the due to the patents of Netflix and Disney Plus. So you see how Netflix, because they have been in the business for decades now, so they have already filed like almost all technologies that they can think of. So I don't think that maybe there may be some know-hows, but based on the portfolio that they have, it is very very vast. I don't think there are some know-hows that are not patented, because it's like after every month another patent, after a few months another patent in this area. So they're like continuously improving the technologies that they have with only very little changes, yeah, in the technology. And also, well, we're talking about more than 10,000 portfolio here, so it may not be, it will be very difficult for me to check everything, but
Yeah,
that's
of
that's
course.
what, yeah, yeah.
I mean, but that means that as obviously that means that both companies use heavily the patent engines, the
Yeah.
patent system for to make their competitive advantages sustainable, especially Netflix. So
Mm-mm.
I mean, this is a first key insight here that we say that we can say that obviously even when somebody says, okay, we have a streaming platform, so what should you patent there, so to speak? And what you find out is that they really come from the question, what is the customer experience and how to make that exclusive. I mean, that's obviously where the fight, where the battlefield lies, right? Right?
Correct. Yeah. They even have patents on user interface and on all aspects of the platform business. They're covering all aspects actually, and later we will discuss that.
And another question from the chat, which is also very interesting. So we know uh, we could say that these two platforms have a different legacy, obviously. So Netflix is a streaming company which started based on end user data. They started later on, after they became a streaming platform, they started to produce content. Yeah.
Correct.
So they and uh, um, and Disney is the clear opposite. So Disney is a first of all a movie studio. Maybe not first of all, because the most money comes from their resorts and so on. So the movies, the movie studio is just to create characters, obviously from a business perspective. But from a content perspective, they are producer. And then they started a platform uh, for to a certain extent, because they want to get end consumer data, because as long as you're a producer, and you just have cinema or whatever distribution channels, you don't get the end consumer data. The question is, were you able to see this difference in the legacy of the companies when you analyzed the patent portfolios?
Sorry, what is legacy?
So the background, so the development of the companies, yeah. So
Yeah.
that these two companies have an opposite development over the time.
Yeah. So because we know that Disney Plus has just started like 2 years ago, and it's owned by the Walt Disney company from the US. And actually, they were producing movies. We know, right? We have watched all the blockbuster movies they have, and then just 2 years ago, they entered into the online streaming business, and this is very very amazing because in just 2 years they were able to gain like a lot of like customers, like almost 2 million now, so more than 140 million now after 2 years, and with Netflix having 209 million. And this Netflix, if you know the background of this one, they started with the DVD online rental service first, And then after that, they made it online. So they started the online streaming service in early 2000. So they're like in the business for 20 years now, unlike Disney Plus for 2 years. But because Disney is quite famous and they have the contents are very nice. There are a lot of us who are superhero fans who want to watch all these movies. So so they were able to gain like more than 100 million in just 2 years. So we cannot really compare them at first because we say that Netflix has been in the business, mostly in the streaming business for 20 years, and Disney Plus has been in other business ventures. But then now, because they have ventured into the online streaming business with Disney Plus, then yeah, we can compare the two of them. And Disney Plus is becoming the toughest rival of Netflix. Yeah.
So to a certain extent, the patent strategy maybe not works that perfect, yeah, because we have here obviously a competitor. But what you say is that Netflix has a superior data-driven machine. The suggestion engine is better, and maybe we see that because um, the user experience is different there. Um, I have another question from the chat, which is also quite interesting. I don't see who asked that here, but it's an interesting question. Are you aware of any initiative from Netflix or Disney to make their data transportation technology to that becomes a standard? So are they active in, let's say, 5G or H.264? So this kind of data transmission standards, are they active there? Were you able to see that in the patent portfolio?
Um, Actually, no, I haven't seen the latest one about the 5G or what. And what yeah, I cannot I cannot answer this question.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
there was no there, yeah, I mean I could not find any 5G but what I don't know is Netflix is more visible in but in many more devices than Disney Plus. But
mhm.
regarding the 5G one, I cannot wasn't able to find any patent on that one.
Okay, okay. I mean, that's was not the question of your research, obviously, but it's an interesting question
Yeah.
about the strategy of these big players, obviously. Okay, so when you made your research on these patents and the patent strategy, basically by analyzing what you found in the public era, were you able to find some common structures of digital patents which are used on such digital platforms
Yeah.
um, to protect relevant business elements? What was your finding there?
Both Netflix and Disney Plus have patents for maintaining video quality and streaming performance. They also have patents on media streaming services, which include the binge watching patents and patents on user interface. And they also have recommendation patents on protecting online and network data security. And they also have patents which support multiple users. So I believe that these are the building blocks of a digital platform. The main categories of patents that an online streaming provider would usually have or should have to sustain their online streaming business, boost their platform performance, attract or find more customers, enhance customer experience, and meet customer expectations. So when we talk about maintaining video quality and streaming performance between Netflix and Disney Plus, however, Netflix has an edge over Disney Plus in this category. So having established patents that support a robust platform that it has today. So Netflix can be watched in a greater range of devices, as mentioned, without technical issues. Disney Plus, on the other hand, struggled technically when it first launched its streaming service in 2009, but I guess it has since improved. The Disney Plus is also not as smooth as Netflix, and it will encounter technical problems in use on some devices. So, this outstanding streaming performance of Netflix in many devices is due to a huge size of patents it has invested in this category. So, Netflix recognizes the importance of delivering content quickly and smoothly to its millions of subscribers worldwide. So, they also have this binge watching patents. So, for Netflix,
It's what?
pat- binge watching binge watching patents.
Beach
It's like,
watching.
yeah, yeah. It's like letting customers be hooked to the tube for hours. So for Netflix, patents in this category include those which allow quick and easy fast forward and rewind functions. So they also have this patents which can skip contents in an episode that have previously been played back to users, and some unwanted sections of the videos are being removed, so letting users stay hooked to the main content. So
Wow.
Netflix, yeah, so Netflix interface, as we say, is user friendly and easy to navigate, right? And it has also recently adopted like live action adaptations on TV series, yeah, which also encourage binge watching. So for Disney, they also have patents in this that uh, letting users enjoy the streaming experience with them. So on user interface, we can see that Disney has an almost similar interface as that of Netflix. The main difference is that the contents in Disney Plus are classified by brand. If you can see the Pixar, the all the other brands there at the
Yeah.
top portion of each platform. So some of Disney's patents in this category feature also some animation and live action movies and exclusive live specials, letting users feel the same thrill as being in cinemas, where thereby enhancing user experience and encouraging binge watching. And I have already mentioned the recommendation system. Uh, we know how sophisticated the recommendation system of Netflix is, and but Disney Plus also has its own recommendation system. But as you say, it's not that sophisticated. But the patents, they use a machine learning algorithm as well to train a user-specific evaluation profile based on the user's own reviews of contents. So you sh-
So one,
the u-
okay, got you. That are the categories. I understand that, and obviously we have to give some more insights about that from your master thesis on the blog from the IP Business Academy.
yeah.
I promise to the audience that I will write a blog post about that together with you, Udina, to give a little overview better what's going on there. But one very interesting question, and now I know where it comes from you too, and thanks for that, is the following scenario. So obviously, when you are on any edge device, mobile devices, that costs a lot of yeah, data transfer, and the question is, especially I mean, in the developed countries, we have the flat rates and we have this access to mobile data. But obviously, when we have not that much developed countries, then it might be a problem to get the data volume handled, which is needed to have a certain high quality video processing. So were you able to find technologies, because that might be also a competition between Disney and Netflix, that they say uh, we are able to reduce the data load, which has to be transferred, and to make, despite of the reduction of the data, we have the possibility to make high quality videos. So is that a technological field in which they are competing?
Yeah, actually, Netflix has patents in that field. It managed the back end and ensure improved performance by aiming towards efficient compression techniques for different instances and towards the optimization of the resolution. through its specialized algorithms, and it's achieving large scale streaming as well. So Disney doesn't have that, although what they have is are patents that make it possible for media content to be delivered unobstructed and timely via the user's available bandwidth from the content provider. So before the media is viewed. So in a way, Disney has a way also of allowing, managing, delivering significant high quality media assets to users using their limited bandwidth in a time shifted manner. Uh, However, Netflix are using two different clouds, such as Amazon Web Services and Open Connect. So it's eliminate waiting time in parsing videos, ensuring error-free installation of software updates, making it possible for users to view contents wherever they are without any obstruction. Yeah.
Very interesting. That's fascinating. Another question. So we had this building blocks that we should publish something about that, because that's a main finding of your work, especially about these two platforms. And now we had the data transmission issue. So another question is, what would you say? What is the role? Because I'm very often discussing with people who are in the IP field or out of the IP field, but typically I try to explain the role of IP for especially patents, for protecting business models. So typical reaction: hey, you cannot patent the business model. Like, yeah, maybe you cannot describe a business model as an invention to patent it. Of course not. But definitely, and I mean, your case is a wonderful example. Patents can play a significant role in protecting business models in terms of the technological implementation of a business model. So let's say, for example, the subscription based business model. So how is that reflected in the patent portfolio of the companies which you analyzed?
Okay. By way of background, let me define first what the digital patent is. So it is a term we use to refer to patents covering computer-related inventions, typically claiming methods performed using the software. So it refers to the functionality, such as how the software operates and impacts the world around it. So digital patents are very important for maintaining, protecting, and strengthening the exclusivity position of a business model, such as the subscription business model of Netflix and Disney Plus. So when we say subscription business model, it is a form of a business model where a customer pays a regular price. That's like what we're doing with Netflix and Disney Plus. So they're using a classical subscription business model. So in the more subscribers an online streaming service provider has, the more income it earns, of course. So the role of patents is very important, as this helps them generate profit from customers who subscribe to the streaming service. So, for example, the more sophisticated the patents are in the field of like videos, of video quality and streaming service, and recommendation system, in the protecting network and data security, and multiple users. They have patents also for multiple users. The more sophisticated their patents in this field, then the better the services that they can offer to the public. So the more customers it gains or retains, which of course translates to more profit for the company. So digital business models are creating value on the development of customer benefits using digital patents, and aim to generate a significant advantage for which customers are willing to pay for the service. So for example, if Netflix is much smoother in video, it may affect the business model, their
Yeah.
business model. Yeah, more customers would like to subscribe to their service compared to Disney Plus. If Disney Plus is not working in some of the devices, then they will not gain more customers as well. So digital business model establish a customer value that can be monetized.
Yeah,
So
yeah, got you. So we have two very interesting questions on the chat. The first question is from Lawrence Chin, and the question is whether the suggestion engine from Netflix is applicable or is maybe infringing or in conflict with what Amazon is doing. So I'm able to answer that. No, that are different technologies which are used. I promise I will make a nugget, and maybe not the next one, but I will approach that issue. So how how these suggestion engines are designed and how they are patented. Okay, and we have so what Netflix is doing is called vectorization, and what Amazon is doing is avatarization, and that are different pattern types which are used, and also different technologies which are used. And some like Spotify are using both kind of pattern types. How they are developed and how the suggestion engines are protected. But another question comes here. Comes up, and that is a fascinating question, because right now we have two PhD projects about the question, about the general question on the building blocks of digital platforms. And so you made the first work last year about Disney and Netflix, and now we have two PhD works which are much more in general, trying to find out on the patent portfolios, what can we see, how companies behave, how these platforms behave. Okay, and about this behavior, there is a wonderful question, because the question is about, were you able to see in Netflix or Disney Plus, in these patent portfolios, that the platforms try to, let's say, get out of their platform and try to connect with other platforms, or even try to have a reach-through mechanism to producers of TV sets or something like that, so that they try to go out of the pure virtual world in other worlds, in other platforms, or even into the reality, so to speak.
Actually, this one, Netflix, the movies can be downloaded, right? So even if you're not online, you can watch the movies from Netflix. And I guess actually they have been working also with other online service providers. They have this Netflix party service and all that. So they're really open to some of the activities that they can avail of, so to improve their businesses. Yeah. So I'm not really aware of the other, because I was focused more on the patents that govern, that run the digital platforms at Netflix and Disney Plus. So in my thesis, I even put in other services that they can. So I classified it in a different category, actually. So, but I know that Netflix has been, they know that the competition is stiff, and whatever avenue that they can enter to earn more, then they'll be open to that. Yeah. So I cannot talk really more on that one, because of my thesis was focused only on the digital business models that they have at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah. So there is a wonderful comment which you always get when you talk about patents, and the comment is, the world is not about patents. I mean, this is exactly what we say. We just had this opportunity in your thesis to use that public information from patents, and to analyze the underlying strategy. And especially your question was, how are technological implementations of the business models are patented? That was the question, and we saw that this is absolutely done here, and to huge amount, it is done. Obviously, there are other mechanisms like trade secrets, for example, which are totally crucial here. We don't ignore that. It was simply not the part of that research. And obviously, both companies, we have to assume from Disney and from Netflix that they are very professional in how to deal with IP in general, and that means we should assume that both companies make very sure that they do not disclose anything what they don't want to disclose. Okay,
Yeah.
and we should assume that they don't file patents which they cannot infringe, which they cannot enforce, so to speak, just because they want to have patents. So I think we should not assume that they are rookies or unprofessional in using IP. I mean, this is exactly what you found, and this is one of your key messages, right?
Yeah. Actually, I also found that they have also have trademarks, copyrights, but that's not part of my the scope of my thesis. So I did not dwell on that. So I just focus on the patent part. Yeah.
Obviously. Okay, so finally, you say that the customer satisfaction is key. The customer experience is key for running such a subscription model, because otherwise, people can easily move to another streaming platform. And this is clearly seen from the IP portfolio, that this is a key issue in their thinking and exclusivity, what they would like to have in terms of making making competitive advantages sustainable with here patents. Is that your finding basically?
Yeah. Yeah, basically, they have used patents to strengthen and sustain their competitive advantages in the media sharing platform field. So, well, it is very important that companies have a clear understanding of their digital patent portfolio so they can plan out and fill intellectual property portfolio gaps, such as developing patents that address risk from digital entrants in the industry. So the role of patents, therefore, in protecting business models cannot be underestimated. So it can propel the success of a digital platform in the online streaming business. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one. Unfortunately, here in StreamYard, I don't see the name again, but a very interesting comment is that Netflix started, so to speak, without IP, because they were without patents, because they were the pioneer. No, this is not true. I have a PhD right now, a candidate who works on the early strategy from Netflix, and obviously it is pretty much aligned from the early days. What Netflix is doing is pretty much aligned with their strategic thinking, and absolutely. So this did not came later, yeah, as an additional effect. From the early days, they work with IP. But I agree 100% what these guys saying. He says today it would be very hard. It becomes harder and harder to go into that business. I mean, Rudina, this is a key finding that from your master thesis, that we have huge entries, barrier to against new entries here. Yeah, so Michael Porter and the usage of IP according to Porter's model is exactly proven, right?
Yeah, correct.
Okay, wonderful. So, Rudina, thank you very much for. I mean, it's already the time is flying. So I would I would say thank you very much to Yitu and David Perkins for this for leading the discussion on the chat. So everybody in the audience is obviously invited to meet us now in the after show party on LinkedIn. and we will try. Rodina will try, and I will try to answer your questions and to comment your comments. So it's a fascinating topic. Rodina, thank you very much for giving us insights in your master thesis. And as we decided, we have to describe a little bit more about your findings.
Okay, thank you once again for all our viewers for joining us in this talk. Thank you, Alex, and organizers, for the wonderful opportunity you've given me to do this talk live on
Yes,
LinkedIn. So
welcome. So
I
thank you
wish
very much.
you the best of luck in the
Yes,
coming years.
absolutely. And I promise in my next nugget, IP management nugget, I will focus on the question how multi-sided platforms work and what the role of IP is with it. Thank you very much for watching, and bye-bye, and bye-bye to Singapore.